welcome everyone to another show straight from the Paws. And again, we're at our beautiful brick pathway, and we have our flowers installed as well, thanks to one of our wonderful devoted board members, Denise. No, I'm sorry, that was Diane Cody, who takes care of our little pathway, and she does a great job. So anyway, enjoy the flowers, because we are too. Today with me, I have a fellow board member, Denise DeVillis. Hi, Denise.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
Hello.
And Denise is here in a different capacity today. She's here because, if you've watched all the shows in the past, which I'm sure you have, I always like to give people titles. It makes them feel important, right, Denise?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it makes you feel real important. The pay isn't much, but it's the wonderful, facade of all getting the animals adopted and all we do. So anyway, I've given Denise two titles. One is she's our membership coordinator, and second, she is also our foster coordinator.
Sure.
So I think we'll talk a little bit about fostering to start off with. So approximately how many foster families do you have now?
Oh, well, we started off the beginning of the year with about 20.
Okay.
And then we did a blast because we had a real need for additional families, and we are up to about 50.
Wow, that's awesome.
Foster families at this point. Some have some restrictions. They have their preferences as to what they want to take in, what the needs would be, but the numbers have really come up.
Well, that's awesome. I didn't even realize that we have that many.
Yes.
That's great. I also know that we ought to also utilize our staff and our board members, myself included. I have 5 kittens right now at home. Yep. Fostering. I will admit though, because I am allergic, I don't do the basic work. I do the cleanup afterwards, and when I have to help out, I do. I like to hold them, but sometimes I can't. So anyway, 5 little ones, they come in and someone drops them off and they don't have a mom. They were trying to feed the mom's gone. What do we do?
The first thing that we would do is eliminate whether staff would like to take them or not, because we have an awesome staff that's more than willing to take these little guys home, nurture them, feed them, get up in the middle of the night with them. But when that's not the case, we revert to the foster profiles that we have on hand. And as I said before, it goes according to what their restrictions and what their strong points are. For example, for little kittens, which has been a booming need this season, we do have some foster families that are experienced and willing to bottle feed. And that's a really big deal because you have to get up all through the night and bottle feed. But if that's not the case, we do have fosters that will take in pregnant cats and give a quieter environment for the birth setting, and then take care of the kittens just to make sure that they're eating, they're growing,
and dogs
healthy.
too.
Oh, that's right. I'm thinking kittens because we have so many.
Kittens. I understand, but we do have Paws.
Yes.
We understand that. That's rare though, a pregnant mom. We have one recently, but that's not usually what happens. It's usually the kittens.
It's usually the kittens, yes. And other situations for fosters, if they need medical attention, for example, if they need an IMED or medications through the night, we do have families that are willing to do that. We also have families that will take in ferals.
Wow, that's interesting.
They have the accommodations for ferals. We recently put a cat into on a property, wonderful foster mom. She has a barn all set up for the feral with the food, and it's a beautiful place. You and I could live in it. It's really nice. And some of the others, let's go to the dogs. We just had a dog that gave birth to 11 pups, and 10 of them are very, very healthy. Unfortunately, one did not survive, but they have been there for, they're going on 6 weeks, and they'll be ready to go home. They're all adopted. They'll be ready to go home at the end of May.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what supplies would we provide to fosters depending on what their needs are?
We could supply anything that they needed. It does not cost a foster family a dime. We do have some fosters that do, you know, they make provisions on their own. However, if you need bedding, litter, food, whatever they need, our shelter is ready to provide.
And you as the coordinator, I know I've seen you come in like when I'm here on Mondays and you've come in and you said, oh, I've got to deliver a cat, or this, you know, this family needs the milk supplement. You go and you get it and you take care of it. So
Correct.
you're not just doing the paperwork end of it, you're also doing the schlepping, as I call, back and forth and taking care of all of that. And,
That's right.
And that takes a devoted person, and I want to personally thank you for doing that, because it was very difficult to get someone to take on that role.
Oh, thank you.
You know, no, seriously.
I enjoy it.
Good. That's good. It is rewarding. It is rewarding. And like I said, right now we have 5 kittens at home. One was a little runt and very worried about it, and also had problems with their eyes. So we've, you know, brought him in on Tuesday. Dr. Mel was here, and now we're, you know, taking care of them. They're growing. The little runt is kind of, you know, doesn't always get in with the food bowl, so we kind of have to feed a little eye drops at the beginning, but doing better. And some people say, well, is it hard to let them go? Yes, it's hard. We love animals, you know, but also, I also say, my eyes are itchy again. Yeah. So I know that we have to let them go. Right now, we haven't even named the 5 that we have, although Bev's kind of calling the last one Spunky, the little one that, you know, because we didn't know if that little guy would, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl would make it, but, you know, it's rewarding, because when they come and you see them and you see them on Facebook with the family, they send us pictures and everything. It's such an awesome feeling.
That's the best part.
You know, it is. It's the best part. So we don't get to keep them. I only have one little dog, Lola, and sometimes she's receptive. She's been good with these little guys. They've been going over to her, and she's been licking them a little bit, and that helps. Sometimes she doesn't want to be bothered. But like you said, this summer we've had a lot. And again, I want to put kudos out to the great staff we have, and the board of directors. You know, we take some that, you know, take them home, and myself included, and nurture them. And it's a great feeling. So if people say, oh, I don't want to volunteer at the shelter because I'll take every animal home. No, there's a different story there.
I felt the same way.
Everybody does, I think, when we start. Everybody does. But as you go on, the rewards outweigh the losses. And I think we have a great, you know, I think we have a great program. And our new director, Ariane, I keep saying new, but I'll call her new for about a year. I mean, she's really pushed the program out. You've made some changes with the foster program. And I know that she's willing to have fosters come in and teach them what they need to learn.
Correct.
And she's on call. You know, she's on call, you're on call. I know we've gotten phone calls. We got to pick up this cat, or this cat's going to be delivered here, and we say, okay. So we have a little, what would you call it, a little underground railroad that we kind of work, you know, and we get them, everybody going where they're supposed to be. And sometimes, like Bev is our treasurer, she has to approve going to, you know, this emergency vet hospital. We get a phone call, middle of the night, we got this going on, okay. And we have a good rapport with them, so as long as it's Bev's on the phone, they will agree to it. And so we have a good network. It's a great little underground network for pets and for the animals, and I think it's wonderful, you know. I think the fact too that, you know, you mentioned that all the little puppies are adopted. You know, that's a good thing, because that means they don't even have to come, not that there's anything wrong with our shelter, but they're in a home right now, and then they're going to miss their siblings, but they're going to go into their own forever home, and they're going to be so happy, you know, and they're going to be loved. And again, the staff here can only give so much love and volunteers, and with COVID, we're down to how many volunteers we allow in the building, you know, and people coming in and out. So it makes it very difficult for us.
And that particular foster mom was pretty, she was very creative. She named all of the pups after coronavirus.
Oh, geez.
Yes, and she established a website for all of the adoptive families.
Nice.
Where we can go on and we can take a look at their progress, their growth. She posts videos of them playing, and so it's really exceptional.
That's an exceptional family. I want to thank them too for what they've done. That's outstanding.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Forever Paws membership.
Okay.
The last couple, it's been 2 years now that we've been doing it.
2 years.
And what are we asking for? And again, I know I'm not here to beg for money. We're just saying that we have a membership program, and well, you tell us a little bit about it.
Okay. The membership program is another way to fundraise while giving back. You do get a letter in the mail, and it explains our function, everything that we do, fundraising, and then you do receive a response card. And once we receive that, we send you a lovely window sticker that was designed by our very special Casey.
Yes.
Gail's goddaughter, thank you, and Bev's granddaughter. And it does say proud member of Forever Paws Animal Shelter. And you also will receive your membership card. It detaches from this thank you note, and then you are numbered. And every year you will receive the same number upon renewal. And this also entitles you to 10% off any adoption in our shelter. It also gives you 10% off any of our fundraisers, especially our annual event. That's our big annual event, Celebration of Giving. So you get 10% off of those tickets. And all of the really nice little presents here. So if you are interested, please reach out to us. I will be happy to send along a membership packet to you and respond within a prompt amount of time.
So to do that, they would have to go on www.foreverpaws.com.
Correct.
And they could just send it to fpass1@foreverpaws.com.
Yes.
Or they could make a phone call here to 508-677-9154. Give us a call. Let us know why you're calling. And one thing that we keep saying on our show, but I have to keep repeating it, we have one person, which Denise also has that role of clerk. We have 2 phone lines and only, one person answering the phone. So if you don't get someone on the phone, just leave a message. Leave a message and say, I want to get in touch with Denise, or I'd like more information about the membership, and someone will get back to you, or they'll give the number to Denise, and Denise will get back to you in a timely fashion. I think that's important. We tried to do this several years ago, and we talked about it, and then again, we weren't able to get it off the ground. And this year, last year when we sat down, we said, okay, and Denise said, I'll take the responsibility. I was like, yes, okay. We got a little committee together. You put a great letter together and we sent it out. We also do email blasts too. So if anybody's out there that wants to know a little bit more about Forever Paws, we are sending email blasts out as well. Contact us at, fpass1@foreverpaws.com. We'll also take the information on your email and we'll send out email blast. Again, I think we're trying to become creative because of COVID, but I also think this is something that's been in the works for a couple of years and we just never were able to get it off the ground.
Correct. The really nice thing about this year's program is it's doubled from last.
Awesome.
And we have not only received the membership, but we've also received many, many donations in response to the membership letter, which was really important because with COVID, all of our fundraisers really have been squashed because of the fear of contracting the virus from others. So people have been very, very generous. And this is another way where you can help the shelter.
Also, I'm going to put a plug in for our little decal because I think, not just because Casey designed it for us, but because, like the other day I was driving down the street and I saw a car that I didn't recognize and I saw our decal and I was like, wow, that's fantastic. We got a decal. There's somebody out there and I'm looking to see who it was and I didn't recognize it. Denise just handed me some checks and some information, and I was just looking through them very quickly. I saw a former colleague of mine from Dighton that got involved, took a membership, and a couple of other people's names that I haven't seen in the past, and it was like, yes, that's great because it does give us an opportunity to reconnect myself with other people, but it also gives them to understand, to see what we're doing.
Yes.
I just sometimes I forget how much we do and how we keep going and going. And when I look at, the shelter today and I look at what we have today, but we've added membership, we've added this on. The foster program was there, but honestly, until this last year or so, when you took it on, and with Ariana and fine tuning things, it became, it's become to volition. I mean, there was a point there where Bev and I would animal after animal, and sometimes, like I say, you need a break.
Sure.
But now we've got 50 viable families that are willing to help us out.
Yes.
And what happens is we do have foster failures.
Yes.
And what does that mean, Denise?
We welcome them.
Yes, what does that mean?
They don't give them up. They end up adopting them themselves.
Right, and people say, well, and I've had people say to me, well, you're going to charge them after they were fostered? Yeah, I mean, when I adopted my little Lola from here, I paid for her. I paid for her. We're in the business not to make money, but to keep ourselves viable.
That's right.
And if I didn't charge fosters, well, a lot of people would become fosters and say, well, it'll be like going to the store. Well, I don't really particularly like that brand of bananas. I'm going to go for the organic ones. You can't do that. You fall in love with the animal. They're beautiful. They're great. They fit into the family well. And then you say, okay, I want to adopt this animal. I think that's important for people to understand.
Yes.
We're not always finding an easy way out. It's not like we're trying to, get money from, a stone. We realize that people have to understand that our situation is we're here to stay viable, which means we have to have money. And money's always on my head because of COVID. I feel very upset with losing all my fundraisers. It's been difficult. It's been very difficult. We are, people, just to let you know, we are going to have a raffle. It's going to be drawn here. It's a cash raffle in October. We're going to have tickets, and we're going to ask people to, to buy tickets. And it's just a raffle, a book of $5. Come in and buy some. I don't usually leave stuff at the shelter, but this time I'm going to leave them here. We're going to have that. And also, I'm proudly going to say, we're in the process of putting together our very own Forever Paws calendar. This is like the second one we've put together. Last one we did was with firemen, but this one is just special needs kind of animals. And I'll just mention Rudy, who was in my home, between my home and another home for almost a year, could not get adopted, finally got adopted, and she's going to be, December on our calendar, and we have little stories, bios that go with them as well. And that's going to be coming available hopefully by the beginning of September to start selling those as well for the shelter. It's a donation of $20. The raffle tickets, the tickets, if anybody wants to get some books of tickets and sell them for us, please call the shelter, or you can always call 508-678-0804, and I'd be more than happy to meet you somewhere and give you a stack of tickets so that we can get them out to everybody that wants to join. Prizes are, I think it's, what is it, 1,000, or is the first one 1,000? It's like 500, 250.
Right.
So, it's 1,500 and 250 cash raffle for $5 for a book of 6.
That's right.
Can't complain about that,
Yes.
right? That's a good thing. We usually have that at our celebration of giving, but unfortunately, we were unable to do that. And I just want to mention too on this show that recently we lost one of our dear friends and volunteers who's been with us for many years, as long as I've been volunteer, which is, I think it's like 25 or 24 years. Julie, passed away. She gave it a good fight, but she passed away, and she was a wonderful volunteer for us.
She was.
And usually at our celebration of giving, we have a Humanitarian Award. And the year before, 2019, we had offered it as a board of directors to Julie and her husband Jan, because both of them have supported us in so many great ways. She was one of the first foster moms we had. She was a foster failure, but she kept on doing what she needed to do, and she did a great job. And she had other animals that would come in and out, and and they took care of the bottles and cans for many years. When we were collecting bottles and cans, they'd come in, they'd take care of the bottles and cans for us. She was a clerk. On Mondays and Tuesdays, she'd come in being clerky. She did everything. She did the parades with us. I could go on and on. So we took Julie, and her name was Julie Kaczynski, and her husband Jan, and we had nominated them. And then Julie became ill again, and she decided she couldn't do it. So a couple of weeks ago, we actually had a celebration of life for Julie here. She has a great bench here, and we have a brick here for her as well. We're sitting right next to it. And we decided that 2020, even though we could not have our celebration of giving, we nominated and accepted Julie and Jan as our 2020 recipients of the Humanitarian Award.
Yes.
Next year, when we have, hopefully, COVID will be I don't know, taken care of.
Or more manageable.
Yeah, more manageable, whatever you want to call it, getting rid of it. Hopefully, we'll have we'll have something, injection or something to take care of it. We'll also again present Jan with something that day as well. But I just want people to know that we become like a family in Forever Paws. People become good friends,
That's right.
and becomes our Forever Paws family.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about. So, the membership that Denise is doing, the foster program she's doing, she's a clerk, she's a board of directors, she's on the fundraising committee. She's one person, and she diversifies her time doing all this. How does that make you feel?
Wonderful.
Does it?
Yes.
Yeah, it makes you feel really good.
It does. Helpful.
Yeah.
Because what we're doing for these animals and the community is just, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I think that's a good word. I personally have been doing this for quite a few years now, too many I think, but it's become a full-time job for me as well.
Yes.
And again, like I said, we bring the fosters in and it's a good feeling, they're at my home, and I got to go pretty soon because every couple of hours now they got to be fed, so I have to change my life according to feeding kittens. But it's okay because you're right, it's a good feeling. And when, like I said before, they get adopted, and I got to tell you one quick story. We had a cat. Our last group was one kitten by herself, and she came in with 2 others, and she was okay. She was a little feisty, a little feral, and we're like, oh, what are we going to do with this cat? And I think it was Aries, that's what her name was, Aries. And it just happened, Bev was answering the phone as a clerk one day, and someone that we knew from the past said, oh, my husband wants another cat. We've already adopted from you once, and blah, blah, blah. And so she said, I'm going to send him in. Can he come in? She said, well, you got to have an appointment. And he happened to come in the day we were here. And this big guy, burly guy, and it was like this big guy. And she said, I want a cat I could, play around with and cuddle with. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And then, so Bev says, okay. So Bev goes, gets Aries. And this cat, like I said, wasn't too friendly. She was a little still standoffish. We were working with her. And he just takes her from Bev's hands. He starts cuddling with the cat. He's got the cat next to his neck. She starts purring. It was like love at first sight. It was like, okay, that's an adoption. The application had been processed, and like, this works.
The animal chooses you.
Animal chooses you by far. And we just got a phone call the other day. Doing great. His wife keeps sending us pictures of him holding the cat. I mean, it's great. She's getting along with the other. They have a son, a young child, about 10 years old, I think now. But, they get along, and they choose each other.
Yes.
You're right. They choose each other. And it's such a great feeling to see that. Now, do I miss the cat? Yes, but when you see pictures like that, it just makes a complete circle of love, and it just makes everything work out so great. And again, people, if you've adopted from us, send pictures. We love pictures. Ari's always posted. If you haven't seen us on Facebook, go on Facebook. Check us out. We're on Facebook. We have Lucy behind the camera today, but Lucy's up here and she does hot dogs and cool cats. And for Fall River, I always get the name wrong, Fall River Cable Media Center. I mean, it's something like that. They're wonderful. They're here every week. She's here even during COVID.
Yes.
I mean, in the winter she comes, that's what it's all about. It's a community involvement, and we appreciate that. We can't go into the studio, so I'm like, Lucy, what are we going to do? She's like, well, I'll come to you. Awesome. I mean, we're still trying to run the show, and we appreciate it. I want to thank everyone for seeing our show today, and have a great day and stay safe.